This is a great show. I saw this in the Asian Canadian Theatre in Toronto last spring. And I saw a whole bunch of theatre during the course of the week, and I picked the one that I thought was the best one, the one that seemed to resonate, I thought would resonate most with college students, and so I asked Catherine to come down and do a very short residency here. I'm not going to talk about Catherine's biography because it's on the back of your program. So rather than go through that extensive list of credits, you can just read it, if that's okay with you. What we're going to do is we're going to have a show first. It will last about 45 minutes. At the end of that, I will have a little break. So I'm going to let you all, whoever needs to leave, can leave. If you are in my Asian American literature class, I expect you to stay. And then we'll have, after that, a Q&A for anyone who'd like to stay. Catherine has agreed to about half an hour. So, performance is tiring, so about half an hour is what we'll do. So I expect everyone will be out of here by 9:15, 9:20 if you stay for the Q&A. It should be great. I think some of you have already had a chance to meet Catherine. I wouldn't have picked her if I didn't think that she could communicate with an audience. I think she's very good with folks. I guess if there's no concerns, we're just going to get started, and she's just going to come out, I think, and do it. And then afterwards, again, we'll do a little transition moment. So if you need to leave or went to the bathroom or something, you'll have a chance in 45 minutes. But for now, again, short of a fire, you're stuck in your seat. Okay? All right. So I'm very pleased to welcome Catherine Hernandez. And when she comes out here, I think she can hear me, but I'm not actually sure. So I'm assuming that she can hear me. All right, well, welcome. Thanks for coming. And we can all look.
Lola? Gising na, Lola. It's time to wake up now. It's breakfast time. Lola? Lola? Gising na, Lola. What are you doing? Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm sorry. I thought you were... Nothing. Nothing. It's time for breakfast, Lola. It's time to eat now. What breakfast? I made you longanisa, and rice, and talong. And I'm mushing it up like this so it's easier for you to chew. I don't want baby. But what if you choke? Oh, well then I choke. What? Okay, listen, Lola, listen, okay? I would really appreciate it if you were a little bit more cooperative than last time, okay? Okay? Sit up. Chin up. Okay. Ready? was about to die, and what is going to do me now? Then I die. Who cares? Who cares? Lola, what are you talking about? Ayokong laugh nito. It doesn't have a what do you call it? It doesn't have a kick. What is that? What's a kick? How do you say it in English? It has no wow factor. No, Lola, I did it exactly the way that you asked me to, right? You told me to boil the sausages beforehand, before I fry it, so that it wouldn't be raw like last time, right? What? Nothing. What? Nothing, wala lang. What is it, Lola? Well, just spit it out. Maybe I should cook. Okay, sure, yeah, okay, why don't you cook? You can cook as soon as you can go to the washroom by yourself. Lola, sorry. I don't even know why I said that. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. You don't have to stay. No, of course I have to, Lola. I love you. I'm sorry. This is just really hard. I'm a burden. No, you're not, Lola. You're not a burden. Please don't say that. No, Lola, you're not a burden. It's just that, I'm sorry, we're just not experts. Expert in dying. No, that's not what I'm saying, Lola. It wasn't always like this, you know? Of course it wasn't like this. You were one of the best cooks I ever knew. No, not just cooking food, but finding food and stealing food. Stealing food? What do you mean by stealing food? You could imagine it. Times were tough. Picture it. Manila, 1944. I was 16 years old, and it was just after the liberation. I worked at a bar called Snafu, which catered to young American GIs looking for art and art. I don't go out late, nowhere to go. I'm home buddy, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, just saving my love for you. Yeah. That was amazing. Another one. Yeah, come on, do another one. Hey, sweetheart, give me a beer, will ya? Hey, Rufina, you sounded like an angel tonight. Listen up. Don't worry about it. Listen, the boys and I, we're gonna do a stroll down Dewey Boulevard. Wanna come along, sweetheart? But there was no time for socializing. After work, I would always go to the back of the bar to find leftovers to feed my family. And there they were. All of the cans of food at Snafu was supplied by a nearby army camp. All of the cans were green and had no labels. I would gather up all of the Spam and ketchup and corned beef cans that I could find. And I would bring it back to my family. Okay, kain na! Kain na tayo!
Oh, thank you, ate. Oh, thank you. It is so delicious. Ay, naku, ang dami naman. Ay, naku, thank you, ate. Salamat, ate. Salamat.
There wasn't a lot. There was always a little bit of food left over in the corners. So hungry. And in the morning, I had to go to Tayabas High School. Chiclets, 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 puto, puto, new, new, puto, chiclets, ma'am, chiclets, chiclets, puto, puto. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Oh, so hungry. One day, the wife of my teacher, Mrs. Boyle, came to me with a very urgent request. Rufina Cortez! Rufina Cortez! I'm come to you with a very urgent request. It seems that, Dolores, my maid, has run off with Jesus, my dog walker. I have not had a decent meal in 3 days. Now I understand that your father has passed away, is that correct? Now it must be very hard for your mother, what with all of those mouths to feed. What would you say if I was to ask you to cook at our house? Just 3 meals a day, and then you can skedaddle to wherever you want to go. You can even bring your homework into the kitchen if you so wish. Is it a deal? Deal. Mrs. Boyle loved everything that I made for her. Adobo! How lovely! Dinaguan! How delightful! Pansit palabok! How unexpected! Ay, naku, kawawa naman si Mrs. Boyle. It was not her idea to teach English in Manila. They were the only family that I knew who had a real working icebox. But what they didn't know was that I would come in extra early for lunch. And I would cut off the bottom of the steaks and feed it to my family. Rufina! Oh! You must be reading my mind. Well, I walk steak tonight, but before you marinate that, do you mind making a batch of your famous Pinot Noir? We're having a very important Morvet in here for tea this afternoon. Would you mind? I'm sure that you know of him. His name is Manuel Sanchez. Of course I knew of him. Everybody knew this tale. Manuel Sanchez was a loner from day one. Son of of self-proclaimed agnostic Cesar Sanchez, God is dead. He was often ridiculed by his Catholic schoolmates.
Who's going to heaven? Who's going to hell? You!
His shyness, coupled with his engineering background, made him the perfect spy for the Americans. He took a job as a repairman at the Manila Hotel. And when the Japanese began to use it as their headquarters, he set up radio receptors into the elevators to record confidential conversations between Japanese officials. He was caught by the Japanese, taken to Fort Santiago, and tortured for 7 days. They removed each of his toenails. Manuel thought that the end was near, but something was wrong. Go! Adjust the three of them! The Americans were going to save us, but first they had to destroy us. Ding, ding. Do I have the right address? You're so beautiful. My name is Manuel Sanchez. I've come for tea.
He never left.
Good night, my love. The tired moon is descending. Good night, my love. My moment with you now is ending. When I saw that man eat my pianono, I knew I could feed him for a long time.
Nagbago naman ako. Did you see that, Mommy? Mommy had 2 servings of my leche flan. It's so nice to see her relaxing for once. She's so old na, di ba? Mommy! Mommy! Come to bed na. Tulog ka na, Mommy. Come to bed. Please.
You're so beautiful. Do you know that? Every day, You set the table so that I'm across from you. So that you can see how satisfied I am with the food that you make me. Do you know who sits beside me? It's my thoughts and my brain. Do you understand? This is where my body is. That's where my brain is. Do you understand, Rufina? They're still looking out the window at Fort Santiago waiting to die. I'll never get my mind back. It's like my fingernails. They'll never grow back.
This was the only time he ever spoke of his time at Fort Santiago. From then on, I always set a place at the table for his mind. But when he died of a heart attack 10 years later, I stopped. Many war veterans came to pay their respects. When I first found out that I was pregnant, Manny thought that he was going to have a son. He even bought a baseball bat for his unborn son. But when Mila was born, nakukawawan man siya. But it was okay kasi daddy's girl, diba? I was making torta in the kitchen. And I saw him go to the back of the house, and he took the baseball bat and began whittling it down, just carving it and carving it, and then he took a piece of sheet metal and stuck it to the piece of wood to make this spoon. It made the perfect torta, my side with raisins, his without. 2 months later, I received a very special package in the mail.
To Rufina Sanchez, widow of Manuel Sanchez, please find on this package a Purple Heart, an overdue symbol of our gratitude for Manuel's service. The information he gathered was invaluable as we sought to liberate Manila from the hands of the Japanese. In honor of Manuel's devotion to the United States of America and unwillingness to succumb to the torturous pressures of the enemy, we are offering you and Manuel's next of kin citizenship in the United States of America. Signed, Colonel Harper.
And there it was, Manuel's other life, stored in a Purple Heart. And in it, a ticket to a new life. We accepted
Welcome to the neighborhood! Oh, don't overwhelm her, Rachel. Oh, you just shut up. Now listen, we brought you some lasagna and some of my potato casserole surprise. Oh, will you just be quiet? No, you stop. You're just giving him too much food. Oh, will you stop it? Now, listen, we just want to make sure that you understand that we are just right next door and you can come to us anytime that you need us. We love you! Bye! Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to me. Oh, it's you, Lola. I thought it was somebody else.
Ay naku, where are my kisses?
Lola,
And my hugs?
Lola.
What is all of these tears? What is wrong, anak?
Well, it's my birthday party and we're waiting for my Ariel.
Your Ariel? Ano yan?
You know, Ariel from the movie, from Little Mermaid. We even made like a paper mache rock and everything, and she hasn't even shown up yet. I don't even know when she's even gonna show up. And now what we're gonna do? It's gonna be a disaster, okay, Lola?
You know what would really cheer you up? Some of Lola's ube makapuna cake.
Lola, it's blue. It looks like it's moldy. It's gross. Grace. Mom! Something's wrong with Lola! Help! Help! Beep. 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 Can you follow my finger? Good. Mrs. Sanchez, do you understand what just happened to you? You just had a stroke. All right, Miss Sanchez, time to change your bags. Good morning, Miss Sanchez. Time for your stretches. All right, Miss Sanchez, lights out. I can't tell you what it was like to be inside there. Somebody told me once that it's like a nightmare when you can't use your arms and legs. It's close, but it was more like a movie when you are just watching but not doing. Mila moved me into a home so that I could be taken care of all the time. It smelled like tea and tears. Hello, everybody. Hello. Good. Excellent. So everybody's here. All right, now we're gonna start with our favorite music. Excellent. Okay, good. Everyone, I know you can't move. It's okay. Just arms up. Arms up. Good. We open up our hands, in and out, just like stars. Good job, Frank. I know you, it's okay. Just watch me, that's all right. Good job, good job. Hey, Rufina, you sounded like an angel tonight. Listen, the boys and I are going on a stroll down Dewey Boulevard. Wanna come along, sweetheart? Ah, come on. You gotta walk with us. Come on, Rufina. Walk with me. Walk. Walk, Rufina. Oh my God, can somebody call the nurse? She's trying to get out of her chair. Somebody, Rufina's moving. how is that even possible? Can she talk? And can she walk? It's fucking crazy. No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, like, shouldn't she be in the home so that she can be with other people, you know, that... No, but where would we fit her? In my room. No, that doesn't make any sense, Mom. That doesn't make any sense. I really wish that you would have asked me. Okay, Lola, we're all gonna go. See you later. Ingat, Lola. It's okay. There's gonna be pizza pops in the fridge. Okay, Lola. Be careful. If you need us, call us. Bye. See you later. Bye. See you later, Mom. Bye. Bye, Lola. Bye, Mom. See you later. Bye. Hello? Hello? Lola! Why did you do that? Lola! What's wrong with pizza pops? I eat pizza pops, Mom. No, I'm not raising my voice. This makes so little sense. And you know Sarah, she said that she could smell her on me. It's fucking gross. Well, I'm sorry to be raising my voice, but who gets to go to work all day and leave it to me? I don't even understand why you want me to make her special food. I mean, she was eating liquid food, Mom, and now I have to make special food. And not only that, she hates everything that I make for her. Lola, I made you some sardinas. It's too fishy, it needs more onions. Lola, I made you some corned beef. Too dry, needs more tomatoes. Lola, I made you some Spam. Too crispy. Spam, too soft. Spam, the slices are too thick. Lola, I've had enough. What is this? It's a pizza pop. Put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. I'm going to go do my homework. Maybe I should cook.
Yes, Rufina. Why don't you cook?
What do you want me to make you, Mrs. Boyle?
Well, I don't know what it's called, but what is that dish called? The one that's made with oxtail.
Correct.
Yes, if you can make that, oh, that's my favorite. What is it, Rufina? You go on, you tell me, what's wrong?
I tell you something, Mrs. Boyle.
Well, you can tell me anything, Rufina.
After the war, we were so poor. The Japanese had killed my father, and it was just my mother and me. And we were so hungry. I would come into your house, and I would cut off the bottom of the steak to feed it to my family. It was not a lot, it just enough to get by. We were so hungry.
Oh, Rufina. Oh, I knew. I always knew.
Why do you think that I always gave you extra money for the market and with instructions to use every last penny?
Oh, Rufina, I always knew. Oh, don't feel so bad. I would have done the same thing. I mean, look at me. It was worth every bite.
To make it up to you, Mrs. Boyle,
I can make you dessert. What do you want? Oh, what about a batch of your famous pianono? Yes, I could make that. I could make it with extra ice and sugar. Yes, I could make that exactly the way you want.
who are you talking to, Lola?
Nobody.
I went on the internet and I found a recipe for sinigang, and I thought that because it's really soft, it would be easy for you to chew. Do you want to try it? Okay. Sit up, Lola. Ready? Wow, this is good. What? Are you serious?
Yes, it's just
What? No, what is it? What's wrong?
you know what makes sinigang so good is that if the soup is very hot, but then you put a scoop of cold rice into it, diba? So it doesn't taste so salty.
Mom made some rice. I'm gonna go to the kitchen right now, okay, Lola? So you just sit tight. I'll be right back, okay? I'll be right back. Okay. All right, so I've got the cold rice. You ready? Oh, Lola. Lola, wake up, Lola. 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 Lola loved us all. I think that's why she came back to us. So that we could learn how to love her better. And she died. She died beside me while telling me a story about how much she loved us. But another thing that she loved so much was to cook. She liked to cook with a spoon. And I thought that I was going to keep it. But I know that wherever she is, she'd want to have it. Lola, I hope you're cooking something amazing right now. I wish you a big fridge and lots of your favorite foods and a table full of your favorite people at each seat waiting to find out what you've made next. Mahal kita. I think that it's one of the things when you're working on dramaturgy is that you always have to think about from whose point of view is this story being told and what is the role of the audience, right? Those are two really big questions that are such pains in the butt, but you have to address them right away before you continue developing the piece, right? With this piece, what I understood was that if Lola was going to be telling a story, everything will be through her lens, right? So, and also all of the characters will be things that she remembers, but everything is just in fragments, just as it would be with a lot of people who are senior citizens, you know. They just remember in fragments and things. So that's why I decided that it was going to be a one-person show, was that even the character of Grace is that it's through her understanding, and she's the only full puppet in the entire piece, right? The only thing she's missing is legs, but she is the only full puppet, and Grace is the only full human, but everybody else is just an object that represents that. So I wanted to make sure that it was very clear. And then the role of the audience then would be to be grace. They are grace for the entire show, that they're listening in on this story of pieces, right? Does that answer? Okay, great. Yes.
Kind of along with that, like I noticed that like you imitate a lot of different characters, but the mom is not. I don't think you ever spoke from her perspective. I don't know if that was intentional.
From her daughter?
Like you speak from the daughter's perspective, the Lola's perspective, but you don't speak from the mother's, like the Lola's daughter's perspective.
Oh yeah, so Mila, the one that you never really see ever,
Right.
right? Yeah, the reason why I felt that she was absent is that I wanted to give some sense of the fact that there's this carelessness for her, which you see a lot. You know how in the 1950s, probably spousal abuse, even in public, was probably pretty accepted. I feel like nowadays, elderly abuse is so accepted. I don't think it's necessarily just my culture that's like that. I see it everywhere. And I wanted to get a sense that this woman, Mila, is so absent. And the only person who's around is this teenage granddaughter who doesn't want to be there, which then makes it even more susceptible to abuse, right? So that's why I made sure that one generation is sort of cut out.
I had a general question about your career. Like, when did you start getting into theater?
I started in theater when I was a child, and my mother was a veteran of Filipino folk arts in Canada, so she taught numerous communities the folk traditions, and we would just come along with her in like a minivan, which is very typical Filipino. We love minivans, and we, because when you got lots of kids, you got to fit them somewhere. And so we would fill up the minivan with all of us, the kin, and then all the costumes. And I grew up like that. That's what I had in my mind. So I feel like that was the beginning. And when I started taking it seriously, like when I feel like I felt like I started becoming a storyteller was when I left Filipino folk arts in order to go to Ryerson University, where I learned nothing. It was 3 years of learning nothing. And then I always wonder, like, what did I do in those few years? But I learned the number one thing that I learned there was that I did not have a voice. Here's a stack of Shakespeare. Here are what we say are classics. You learn the classics. You learn how you say the classics. And if you don't, then you fail. And I remember sitting there, like, memorizing Shakespearean text, like, fuck you, Shakespeare. I don't want to speak like this all the time. I just like, I didn't want to do that anymore. And I was like, I can't stand it. And yes, you are brilliant, but I just felt like I really needed to say something, but I didn't know what it was. And then, and I think that's when I started, that there were stories, but they were so latent because of 3 years of really bad schooling. And it wasn't until after I had left where I felt like there were stories that I could actually tell. Yeah.
Do you also perform in your other plays, or is this the only one?
I do perform in another play called Future Folk, where it's a collective piece, which is really interesting. Have you guys ever worked collectively on something? Anything? Yeah? Okay. It's very challenging if you have a really crappy group of people. And when it's the right group of people, it is magical. So all three of us were these very strong Filipino women, and we knew that we were the ones to play the parts. We were going to write it and perform it, and it was about Filipino caregivers. And But then there are some pieces that I write that I know that I'm not the person to be a part of it. I think that you just know if you have a right to be in it or not. You see that sometimes with big I don't know if there's an equivalent to that here where there's a company of 80 people and it's a large festival. We have in Toronto, in Ontario, we have the Shaw Festival and we have the Stratford Festival. And you see the same 80 people over and over again playing different parts, and you just, they have no, it should be somebody else. It's the same with me. It's I feel like I write something but I have no reason to do it. An example of this is that there's a piece that I'm writing right now. My partner is a social worker, and she told me this amazing story about how she had this one client who was mentally disabled, and it meant that his parents had signing rights for everything, including his sexuality. He was obviously homosexual, obviously, because barred from being sexual, period, that he would do these strange things, he'd line up for to go to the washroom, and then he'd be like, can someone lick my toes? Can anybody lick my toes? Because he wanted to be touched, he needed to be touched, and he needed sex. And so what Laura would do was that she would, on the side, she would take him to the gay areas of Vancouver. And the most that she could do was to have him amongst the community, bring him to one of the gay pornography places to go and get him a magazine so that he could be sexual with something, because he was actually calling in prostitutes to the group home because he really, really, really needed to have sex. So if you can imagine, being taken, that right of being sexual being taken away from you, that's my newest piece. And obviously I have no right to be in that play. I don't see myself in that play. I might be, because it might actually be puppetry. I'm thinking that's going to be 2 actors and a whole bunch of puppets. Mainly because I see these 2 characters, these very judgmental gay men in a club, and I see it that they're marionettes, but they move in complete tandem. Who's your friend? I see them doing that. I see them moving together, and I see that as puppets, right? And also I have a problem with actors. You can see the actor, right, receiving the phone call at home saying, oh my God, I got a role as a mentally disabled person. Awesome. You can just see that, right? They're oh my God, I'm going to do it so much justice. And then you see this actor on stage, and it's just awful. Whereas there's something about puppetry that allows you to be very truthful. If you were to see me act as an old lady, that would just be stupid. But then there's something about you see me with a puppet and then you buy it, right? But then if I do it, it's it's all about me, and I'm oh, I'm pretending to be old, and I don't want to do it. I don't know, there's something about it. It's like watching ballet dancers when they're in the Nutcracker and they do this. They go, it's snowing, and they do this. I'm sorry, I sound so bitter. But it's so true. There's certain things that, this puppetry allows an actor to be way more truthful than any other way that you could tell a story. So I'm thinking that that's what it's going to do, is that it's going to be 2 actors and numerous puppets. That's the only way that I can see myself being a part of it. But I have to be honest, if I'm no, you know what, another puppeteer can do it. They can do it way better, because this is not something that I've been doing for years and years and years and years, right? This is, compared to every other art form that I've done, this is very new. Yep.
Compared to normal play writing, how is it different writing for a puppet?
Awesome question. I thought that I was brilliant and I wrote it all. I even put on my Facebook status, I'm I love writing the words "the end" after a first draft. I don't know why I did that, because I totally jinxed myself. Because then I was I'm just going to put the puppets together and then I'm going to do it. I'm just going to memorize it and do it. It's not the same. It's not. It was a bit of a disaster. It's so funny because I think the people who were in the class this morning, I keep on talking about my disasters. But this one was a real learning experience, because I realized that dialogue does not just work. It doesn't just I'm going to memorize it. You have to time things, right? And it took forever to get that first scene right. What I realized was the best way to do it was I was going to go and improv it and then write it down. Improv it and then write it down. And then every time you do a new draft, you're still improving it. It's very tiring. It's not like when you're a playwright, you're just like, la la la, I'm drinking my coffee at a cafe and I'm only expending like 100 calories throughout the day. Whereas this one, it's like my arms were tired. I couldn't I didn't know what I was like. I couldn't thinking. I don't know why I did this, and I don't. And it was very Filipino the way that it came out. It's just there was this call from the. It was for the Cultura Festival. You guys have to see this festival. It's very small, but so beautiful because the art that's coming from sort of these very urban Filipino artists, just amazing. And there was this call out saying that we love pieces for, if anybody has any pieces, like so casual. Does anybody have anything? Because we're having a festival and it's like next week. I don't even know what's going on. And so so I said, oh, I have this play. And it was like, it was like a month away. It's like, I have a play and I wanted to do it. I don't know why I said that. And then like, sure. And that was it. And then the next thing I know is that I'm standing there looking at these puppets and then realizing that the play that I had written made no sense. And so that I had to even just for 10 minutes of an excerpt, which is what I performed at the Cultura Festival, it took forever. It took that month. Whereas usually when I write, I'll think about it for like 6 months and then all of a sudden I'll write it over the course of 3 days. Mm-hmm. This one was like, I don't know what she's saying, I don't know when, I don't know. it was, to get to the first full draft, it took 3 different festivals for me to find what they were saying. I don't know. It just takes a long time. But if you're going to do poetry, it's think about it. So think about something else. You gotta give it some time. Also, it's not something it is an oral tradition. I think that you really do have to learn under somebody. I learned under Anne Powell, who is this fantastic English woman with huge spectacles. Like it's like this strange stereotype. Like and she's always like, oh, I don't think that's right. Like, and every time I do it, she's like, oh, may I? And I'm like, fine. And then she'd do it, and it would be brilliant. And but she really moves puppets, and the way that she taught me was that it wasn't going to look like a Muppet. First off, she had a mouth, like she had an actual mouth, and it looked like the Muppets. Right, like she was like, I don't want baby food. I don't know. She didn't really have a soul, and then she made me sew up the mouth, and then she made me like really look at the puppet while I was manipulating her. And the minute you do that, it's all about the tiny things that she's doing, right? And then the play made sense, and then I knew what was happening because then I could really give them life. Yes?
What's the biggest audience that you perform like this show for?
For this show?
Yeah.
Well, it's I would say probably the Fujian Festival. That was about 100. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, at the end of this month, I'm going to go to Bogota. I'm doing the same show. Again, I don't know what I was thinking in Spanish. I was thinking about it today going, do I have to do it in Spanish? Like, could they not, maybe they'll understand everything just magically. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think I should just kick myself in the bum and just really just learn the text. It's, but I think that first off, the audience will be huge because it is an international festival. So all of these Latin American women who are theater practitioners are all going there. They're all convening there, and it's going to be huge. And in a very Colombian way, they're like, "You're performing twice in one day." And I was like, okay. And they don't care. They don't care that that doesn't, that I might be emotionally drained. They're like, no, let's do it. And I was like, oh, okay. And even on their website, they didn't even ask me if that made any sense. I was like, oh. But the strange thing is, when you're talking about dramaturgy, when now that it's in Spanish, I was telling Adrian this, is that I understand certain characters more now that they've been translated into Spanish. In Spanish, the character of Grace is much more real to me, whereas in English, I still feel like she needs some work. In Spanish, it's just like I totally get her. She's so awesome. Like you just see that she's had enough. I can't. There's something about the order of the words. Like even when you say like Lola, good morning. Hey Lola, get up. Like that part. In Spanish, there's something about it that she sounds like she's done this so many times, but she just wants to go get out of the house. And yeah, there's something about the translation that just makes it so much more true. Although I'm not sure how to do Mrs. Boyle. I'm doing it like I'm like, do I do it in that accent, but then in Spanish? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out because I want to make sure that the Colombians will understand that I'm pretending to be an American. But if I was to just do it just in Spanish, then they won't get that. And then what is an American doing in Manila? So I need them to understand it. So I had to have them speak Spanish, but in this way. So it's going to make sense someday.